this is the live lesson on what has caused traffic congestion in the CBD and what solutions have been put in place, because this has meant there's been a lot of changes happen because of this. Again, most of the content is on the sway lesson, but this is some of the ones that maybe people, it's not like the more important ones, but maybe like the ones who are a bit harder to understand. So first up is car ownership. So I was just going to put in a picture of a car, but then I found this like infographic and it was actually quite cool. So there are now 2.9 million cars or vehicles licensed in the UK and Scotland. For a population of about 5 million, that means like for every person, every 2 people is a car or some kind of electric vehicle, which is a lot when you consider that, you know, there a lot of people were under 17, so they don't drive, and a lot of older people don't, or maybe only share a car per household. And certainly in parts of Glasgow and Edinburgh, there are whole swathes of people who never have a car because they don't need one. So this is a large amount, and you can see then that most of these are cars. There's a lot more in here for other things. In terms of comparison, in 1964, there were 0.9 million cars. So in the last, 50 years, cars have gone up by about 2 million, which is a huge amount. And simply the case is, the more cars you put in the road, the more traffic you're going to get. It's not that the roads will get any bigger. So the more cars, the more traffic. Pure and simple. So everything else, yes, it's true, it does affect it, but simply more cars, more problem. The structure of our CBDs doesn't really help that too much either. So let's pick a nice, I wonder if the rainbow will show up. Yeah, that's a rainbow will show up. So, oh no, I now need it to go away. So if you then drive into a city and then you can go off the motorway here, you come down and you've kind of got to take this kind of like shape, like turn left, oh I turned the wrong way. And every time you turn, you then kind of have to slow down and stop and then kind of go really slowly. And if you've got another car that's going the other way that wants to turn right, they have to maybe wait a bit longer. And every time you have to slow down or wait, that builds up the traffic behind you. And the more traffic builds up, because these are quite short, that then it'll build traffic up down this road. And then the traffic builds up down here, it'll build up down this road. And then before you know it, the traffic starts building up and not going anywhere because it's what's called gridlock. Now that's quite an American term. That gridlock is really that because of this grid shape that nobody can turn because they've all kind of gone round in circles. So imagine then there that road, this people here can't go because that one's stuck and they can't go because that one's stuck and they can't go because that one's stuck. So literally as you get gridlock in CBDs. The structure as well doesn't really help for, like, so Glasgow has like a really particular problem, that biggest city in Scotland, and you know lots of people drive in there every day to get to work. And what we then have, let's choose a nice bright colour, let's go with this gold colour, that everyone comes along this motorway, comes along this motorway, comes along this motorway. Let's make this bigger to stand out. So they come along this motorway here, they come along this motorway, and motorway people come in really quickly. So you've got 3 major motorways joining to cross at this one point. So this is called bottlenecking or bridging points. So if you imagine like a bottle, let's do a nice rainbow bottle, is like nice and thick and then filters down at the top to allow you to drink out of it. But if you've got a car coming down this way, if you've got cars coming down all this one, these are all like lanes of cars, that they then try to filter in, that they then start bashing into each other to get across this bridging point before they can spread out again. So aside from having a really colourful rainbow bottle, that this bridging point here is where cars will get stuck. And if you notice with Glasgow, I mean they can't even use all of these ones. That's a road bridging point, that's a road one there that they can cross, and that's a road one there. But then there's only another one there. These are pedestrian ones. And then there's a ferry, so they can't use that one. And then there's not, and then there's the Clyde Tunnel. So even in this whole expanse, there's no way for them to get across the road. And anytime you're condensing that traffic down, is going to increase the amount of traffic that's there. You can have it backing up and locked. So at rush hour, when everyone's trying to get across what's this bridge here, the Kingston Bridge, you get huge amounts of traffic. So the one that's squared is you get huge amounts of traffic on that. So that's the main problems I've got, that you've got increased car ownership, you've got then potential of gridlock, and for Glasgow itself, you've got this bridging point, all these bridging points where people bottleneck. So no wonder we get lots and lots of traffic. So the one we've got here is public and service traffic. So this is a standard Glasgow road, and if you then have this bus here stop, and this bus here stop, then what's left is a very small gap in between. So this very small gap for anyone else to drive past, which might be like kind of cars, taxis, another bus. So if you can't get past that, then all you're going to get is traffic building up behind. And then again, in this gridiron street pattern, that traffic really quite quickly builds up. So you could have this with taxis. You could have it with lorries. So lorries might be there to deliver goods to shops or kind of services like McDonald's deliveries, and there's nowhere else for them to go. These are old buildings, so there's no loading docks and buses. So all these things that constantly stop and start is going to cause a problem. But what is being done? So some solutions that are in place are the park and ride schemes. So park and ride schemes, we're actually going to go back to this map here. And then we're going to look out for this one over at the side. So the pink square, when this highlights back up, will highlight where we are having our problem. Or not the problem, this is one of the solutions. So people can then park out here, jump on the train, and then get the train all the way into the city, missing out all that traffic. There is also another one. Now, if I can find it, it is very faint. Here. So the one I'm about to highlight is called Shields Road. So you'd take the motorway in as you normally would, and instead of trying to get across that bridge, you would jump on, park at Shields Road, park for very cheap, and then use the subway to navigate your way around the city. There we go. So that's Shields Road highlighted up there. That you'd use that to then jump on the subway and navigate your way around the city, because that's your subway there. So that's one solution, is these park and rides. But park and rides only really work if people feel like they're fast enough, if they're actually faster or save them money. So to make the experience nicer, they've also upgraded the buses. So one of the things they've done is they've added Wi-Fi so that you can sit on the bus or train and connect into people, or connect to people. They've added USB charging, so that, again, if you're on the bus, you can charge your phone up. They have also made them cleaner, so people don't have that kind of really like, oh, buses are horrible and scummy, and they have made them eco-friendly. So they've made them eco-friendly, so that they might encourage different people to go on them. The one thing they haven't done, which would make a big difference, is reduce the price. So if they made them really cheap, people might be more convinced to take them. But if they stay expensive, people are definitely not going to be. And then you've got these people. How they actually convince people to not be in the city centre is you've got this lovely person here charging this person here a lot of money because they parked on double yellow lines. So this will cost someone around about £20 to £40 if they park in a double yellow line. And if they don't move it within a short period of time, they will then get their car towed. Once they have not paid it, or so it raises some money, that really encourages people to not. Okay. Once that encourages people to not connect to like charge in to park in the city centre, they will then maybe need alternatives. So that's where these were then built. These are multi-storey car parks, and you tend to find these down the back lanes of cities. So you drive in here, drive into your multi-storey car park, and then you've got, how many we've got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 floors of parking where you can park nice and safely. You're in the city centre, so it's only a really short walk to anything you need. And they don't quite charge as much. Some of them vary. You can get ones that are about £2.50 a day in Glasgow, ones up to about £8 a day. So there's a big variety in terms of your multi-storey car parks, but they have started becoming much more common in our CBD because of the traffic wardens that are charging people who park in the bad place in double yellow lines. What they did for gridlock was they introduced one-way streets so that people wouldn't have that gridlock thing happening as well. But that was in your sway notes. So that is our traffic problems and solutions. Oh, it's all very colourful when we finish.